Hi everyone, and welcome to today's tutor tip. Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to start a series about pronunciation, and this is particularly aimed for our ESL tutors. Sometimes when faced with a student who really struggles to make himself or herself understood, we want to work on pronunciation, but it's hard to know where to start. A lot of tutors will start with the sound level, certain sounds that their learner struggles with, like maybe B and V or TH and D. But actually the research is showing us that in order to improve comprehensibility or the ability to make oneself understood, it's more effective to focus on what we call the suprasegmental, which is above the sound level. So things like syllables, word stress, pauses, intonation, things like that. So today we're going to start with syllables because this is really the building block of clear pronunciation. And how do we know how many syllables are in a word? Well, in English, each vowel sound is a syllable. Now, that's not the same as a vowel letter, right? We have lots of silent letters in our English spelling, but when the learner is listening to a word, they can count how many vowel sounds that they hear. So the word syllable has 3 syllables. And your best friend, when you're trying to teach about syllables, is going to be a pencil. And I love using a pencil because it's kinesthetic, and it helps the learner really connect sound with how many syllables are going on in the word. So you could have them tap out words and syllables on the desk in front of them, and the more they do it, the better they'll get at it, and it's fun for you too. So one thing to really emphasize, especially with learners who come from speaking the languages, Romance languages like Spanish and Portuguese, is when does past tense ed add a syllable and when does it not? Because this can be really confusing for them. So when a verb ends in T or D sound, like rent, plant, add, load, when we add past tense ed, it's going to add a syllable. So rent, 1 syllable, becomes rented, 2 syllables. Plant, 1 syllable, becomes planted, 2 syllables. And the only reason that ed adds a syllable is because these words end in the t sound. So we can't have 2 t sounds right next to each other, so we add a, so it becomes rented. Now, other verbs that don't end in T or D, work, live, save, laugh, these words, when we add ed, they still stay 1 syllable. So work becomes worked, and we don't add ed at the end. So this is a great rule to teach your learners so they can figure out when to add a syllable and when not to. And finally, I want to give you one activity you can use when you're working on syllables with your learner. So here's a game kind of like categories. Think of as many countries as you can, or it could be any topic, right? Fruit, places you traveled, something like that. And give them a time limit, like 2 minutes, and give them categories, 1, 2, 3, and 4 syllables, and see if you can evenly fill in all those different categories. And you can do it to kind of compete against each other and make it fun. So syllables is where I would start when you're working on pronunciation, and in the next video we're going to talk about word stress, which is sort of the second step. So thanks for tuning in to today's tutor tip.